have children and you're thinking of living abroad, then you will need to do more preparations, because as you can imagine, the move will have a huge impact for the little ones. With this video, I will share our views on moving and living abroad as a family, and I hope that this will support you in making the decision of moving abroad. But first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Monico, and together with Matt, we make videos about moving and living abroad. And these videos are based on our own experiences of living abroad, but also the preparations that we are going to make for our next move to a new country. So if you need practical tips on moving and living abroad, make sure you subscribe to our channel and press the notification button under this video so you know when we have uploaded new information that will be helpful for your move abroad. So like us, you are dreaming of living abroad as a family. Matt and I always picture ourselves living abroad with our son, who is now 7. But as a mother, there is some little bit of worry and guilt when I think about moving, because I'm worried that he doesn't want to go with us. Plus, I feel guilty of pulling him out of the life that he is familiar with. But when I was little, I moved a lot with my parents and I loved it. And when my parents decided to move to the Netherlands permanently, after 2 years, I remember that I asked my dad, when are we going to move again? Because I was ready for a new country. Of course, every child is different and will experience it all differently. But the sooner you start, the better. Very young children will not know better. But how about the older ones? With the 7-year-old, we really want to make the move to a new country a positive, a good experience instead of a bad one. So we've made a couple of decisions so far, and these decisions are based on our own experiences, but also after a lot of reading on this topic. Initially, we wanted to move when our son was really young, preferably before he turned 4 and was going to kindergarten. But at that time, we did not have our financial situation ready yet. And we really believe that your financial stability is crucial for success for the child and for yourself when moving abroad. When it was just the two of us and we were living abroad and we had to move back because we were broke or something didn't turn out as we expected, it was fine for us because we would just pack our bags, go back home and start saving again. And this is of course impossible if you have a child. So make sure you know your source of income when moving abroad. Now we want to wait until our son is 9. And we have decided on this age because we want him to be confident in reading, writing and in math before we leave. When I was young, I moved from Malaysia to the Netherlands when I was 7. And I remember that there was this huge learning gap when I arrived. And I had to follow a lot of extra lessons on top of my Dutch lessons to catch up with the rest of the group. So for our son, we really want him to be stable or have a foundation in writing, reading and math, so he can focus on other stuff than feeling insecure. We also want to leave when he is 9 because we want to avoid moving when he hits puberty, so when he is between 10 and 15 years old. We read that in this phase, children undergo a lot of physical and emotional changes, and they are seeking support from their social circle. So when you move in this phase of life, the child will have difficulty connecting. This disconnect with the group is called the expat child syndrome. And the child can suffer from isolation, seclusion. He and she will show withdrawn behavior, but it can also result in destructive behavior. Of course, as mentioned before, every child is different, and it's up to you as a parent to know what your child's needs are and what he or she can handle in a new situation. Another decision that we have made to minimize the challenges of our son when moving abroad is looking at international schools. In international schools, he will be surrounded by children with similar backgrounds and experiences. When I was little, I always went to English-speaking schools, whether it was public schools or international schools. And I believe that this made my transition much easier every time we moved abroad. But of course, we won't only be focused on an international school only. If there are schools with mixed nationalities, then that is fine as well. And if we're going to a country that is somewhat similar within Dutch culture, then maybe a public school is also an option. I remember that I also attended a public school in Malaysia, and Malaysia is known for its many nationalities. So I did not really stand out. So I guess the type of school that you're going to decide really depends on the country that you're going to be living in. The next point that we also want to arrange before going is housing. We want to immediately have a place where we can start living and feeling it at home as soon as possible. My dad worked for a Dutch company, and they would arrange everything from housing, packing, unpacking, they even arranged the furniture for us. So the whole move was not stressful for my parents, making it easier for me to feel at home in the new country. In our case, we want to introduce the country to our son before we actually move there. This also gives us the opportunity to check out schools and housings, because we also read that you should include your child in the decision making throughout the whole moving process, which we fully understand. We also think that visualization and experiencing the country beforehand will help our son a lot. We want to associate the new country as something fun, so hopefully he will become just as enthusiastic as us about the idea of moving abroad. I hope these insights has given you some idea on how to tackle the dilemma of moving abroad with your family. We'll post more information about this topic as soon as possible. For now, if you want to keep updated, please subscribe to our channel. And if you want, you can leave comments, questions, or your views on living abroad with your family below. We are happy to read them all. Bye for now, and hope to see you in one of our next videos.